Hey, fellow explorers, it's me, Mario. Today we're going to talk about the Parrot, which is a pretty straightforward card. It's going to provide you with one jewel. So, if you need one jewel, it's going to be useful. If not, it's not going to be useful. And that's my analysis. Deep, right? Okay, let's just dive a bit deeper. So, it's a 2 cost, 2 points card, which already makes it pretty decent. In the late game, it's still going to be a good conversion, so you can buy it and be happy with it. It has one ship icon, which is alright, nothing to write home about. But what about the ability? So, you have to discard a card to get a jewel. This ability is pretty good early on, I would say. You can get jewels to climb up the resource track or defeat some guardians, and the jewel is a pretty important resource, I think. But sometimes you may find yourself, not drowning in jewels, that's pretty rare, but still, you might find yourself without any use for a jewel, because take a look at the track. Like, if you get 2 jewels, you can get up here, but from that point on, you're going to need arrows to move up. So sometimes you can find yourself stuck with some, I wouldn't say useless because you're going to use them later on, but given the snowbally nature of the game, I think that you really need to invest as many resources as you can now instead of waiting to invest them later on. So that's why it can get tricky with the Parrot. Another thing that is tricky is that it costs always one card. I mean, you always have to discard a card. While early on, this doesn't look much of a cost because you can discard a fear card and you don't have much to do with fear cards anyway, other than going to a tent site, which you want to avoid starting already from the second round, I think. I mean, on the second round it's still alright. From the third round on, you really want to avoid tent site actions. But discarding a card, it's going to be a higher cost later on in the game because your deck hopefully is going to be better, and just discarding a card it might cost you quite a bit actually, because if you discard a good card, you're not going to be happy with it. I prefer cards that filter resources into other resources because as your deck gets better at creating resources, generating resources, and the filtering cards are also going to be better. While the Parrot is always going to be decent. It's never going to be amazing. It works best, I think, in a deck that can have like polarized hands, like very good hands and not very good hands. Like if you can still have fear cards in your deck along with very powerful cards like the airplane, the automobile, and the tent, like very good cards, then the party is going to be alright since the very good cards are going to provide you with enough resources to explore and to climb up the track. While the parrot is going to just discard, I don't know, a funding or an exploration or a fear card. So it's going to be valuable even by the end of the game. But if you have to discard a decent card, then yeah, the parrot is not going to deliver. So that's why I'm not so happy to see a parrot on offer as I am with other items like the trowel. Spoiler. But yeah, the parrot is still going to be fine. It's worth 2 points, which is already solid, and it's going to give you a jewel every now and then, which is what you might need. Just be careful and not. I wouldn't prioritize Parrot unless you really need jewels. Sometimes it depends on which level 1 sites get explored early on, so that's why it's difficult to assess how much a Parrot is going to be worth in a given game. If you buy it on the first round, you don't know if jewels are going to be rare or are going to be too common, so that can be a problem. But other than that, the Parrot is going to be alright. Like every card in Arnak is at least decent, and the Parrot is, I think, a little better than decent. So get it, be happy with it, but don't expect too much out of it. That's just it.